You're listening to Big World Network.
Incubus, Episode 12, Part 2. Written and read by Amanda Meuwissen. The first round of drinks reached their table with little conversation having passed between them. They had returned to McCoy's, the bar Sasha had taken them to when they first met. Nathan had suggested hitting the bar, partly in celebration for having finished the hunt, but also to get Sasha's mind off of the fact that the succubus had been his aunt. "Sasha, are you really okay with what happened back there?" Jim asked. He and Sasha were on one side of the booth, while Nathan occupied the other alone. "I mean, she was family. That can't be easy." Nathan took a long drink, glowering at his brother over the top of his beer. "I'm okay," Sasha said, offering a small smile, one Nathan didn't believe. "Sabine was never that big a part of my life, not like Shaira. I hate to think Shai might have known about this. My kind don't kill. It goes against everything we believe in. But when one of us does, everyone kind of just looks the other way. No one wants to have to stop them." "Being a seal can't make you too popular with your fellow sex vampires, then," Nathan said. "No, popular I'm not," Sasha said. "Let's just say I'm welcome in my aunt's home. And that's about it." A shadow crossed Sasha's face as he spoke. Nathan was starting to recognize that something of that sadness must be in Sasha all the time. "So, I think I have a lead for us to follow as far as figuring out who owns Nathan's mark," Sasha went on. "We're shorter on time because of me, because you were willing to wait and help me on this case. I'm grateful for that, but we shouldn't waste another day. We need to question Dark Fae to find out who that messenger of yours worked for. Since we can't do that safely in the Vale, we're going to have to find a few here in the world." "Find? How are we supposed to find Dark Fae?" Nathan asked. "Usually we're trying to avoid 'em." "That's why you have a seal on your side, remember? I already had word of some possible Fae activity in Nebraska. I was planning on heading there after this hunt was over. I'm not exactly sure what we'll be dealing with, but it's definitely a Dark Fae." "Thank you, Sasha," Jim said earnestly. "I don't know how we'll ever be able to repay you for this." "Repay me?" Sasha laughed. "I haven't done anything yet." Even though they had spent the last few days helping Sasha, Nathan never could get his mind around the idea of getting anything for free. They couldn't pay Sasha. He didn't seem the type to care about money or possessions anyway, but he was still willing to put his life at risk for them. For Nathan. "We'll think of something," Nathan promised. "Oh?" Sasha said with a quick smirk. "And, what would you have in mind?" Nathan's initial reaction was to grin. Even Sasha's sultry, flirty tone of voice was an improvement over a depressed one. But then, Sasha moving his foot up and down Nathan's shin was a new development. The table gave a loud smack as Nathan jerked his knee up into the bottom of it. He couldn't help reacting that way. It was reflex. "Nathan," Jim said, "what are you doing?" "Nothing. Just a cramp." "Right." Nathan scrutinized Sasha across the table, met by that familiar, blinding smile. "I'm gonna get another round," he said, and rose to leave the booth. "Another?" Jim said. "But, Nate, we just got this one." "I know. I think we're going to need some shots." Nathan escaped to the bar feeling flushed throughout his entire body. He wanted to brush the whole thing off, chalk it up to Sasha just being like that, maybe not being able to help his flirtatious nature, but that deliberate brush of Nathan's leg had been anything but subtle. "Nathan." The sudden sound of Walter's voice made Nathan flinch, and he bumped into the man standing beside him at the bar. He shrugged weakly in apology, before turning to look at Walter with wide, questioning eyes. "We should talk," Walter said. "Privately." The only private place in a bar was the bathroom, which seemed like such an insult to injury after the last time they had a bathroom conversation. But Nathan gave a small nod, called to the bartender for some tequila shots to be delivered to their table, and headed for the men's room. Thankfully, it was empty. "What do you want, Walt?" Nathan hissed. He knew that if he started being loud, someone would inevitably come in and think he was either drunk or crazy. "We finished the case without much help from you, if you weren't paying attention. I've even made friends with Sasha like you wanted. We're good." The mirror behind Walter showed no reflection of him as he leaned against the sink. "Yes, I've noticed you and Sasha," he said. Nathan hated how visible his own reactions were in the mirror behind Walter's back. "Meaning what, exactly? So Sasha has a thing for me. Big deal. I'm not looking to complicate things, Walt. He's a guy." "He is also an incubus. He can read emotions, Nathan. He can feel what other people are feeling. That's how an incubus knows who to target when they feed. Your attraction to him—" "I'm not attracted to him!" Nathan spat, a little louder than he intended. "He's just messing with my head." "Regardless," Walter went on, "while I'm glad you spared him, because he is a good man, and I do believe he might be able to help save you from the fate you have chosen, there are still complications ahead. The path you choose now—" "You know what?" Nathan broke in again. "Why don't you just tell me which path to choose, so we can stop having this conversation? Why does it even matter what path I'm on, huh? I'm just me, just Nathan, nobody special. You act like my life is so damn important." "Of course your life is important," Walter said. "Every life is. There are too many lines of probability to know which path is right, Nathan. It isn't about one right answer, only easier and more difficult ways to reach one of several possible ends. I simply want you safe, on as right a path as is possible. I want you—" "What, boring and obedient?" Nathan grumbled. "Happy." Nathan could only stare back at Walter. His spirit guide's warm brown eyes glowed surreally, just like Sasha's blue ones. "Whatever happiness you choose, I will be here," Walter said. "I only wish for you to understand that few paths ahead of you will be easy. I can only help you so much on this journey, but when you need me, Nathan, all you have to do is call for me." Nathan felt remarkably alone when Walter faded away, no longer visibly leaning against the sink, so that all Nathan could see was himself reflected back. Walter was there. Walter was always there. Nathan could call him back right that moment if he wanted. He used to call for Walter all the time when he was younger, those first few years alone with Jim. For several moments Nathan just stared in the mirror, unconsciously clutching at his shirt, where his scar was hidden beneath the fabric. When he finally left the bathroom, his mind wasn't really focused on where he was going, until he slipped out the side exit into the cold. The exit led into an alleyway, complete with dumpster, various types of grime, and not a single other soul in sight. Nathan enjoyed the seclusion, even if Walter was hovering somewhere nearby, and despite the chill in the air. He leaned back against the wall beside the door and sighed out a thick puff of visible breath. He was startled when the door opened only a few moments later. "Nathan?" came Sasha's voice, filled with concern. The incubus appeared as the door closed, revealing Nathan beside the dumpster. Sasha's red brows furrowed. "I thought I saw you head out here. Is everything okay?" As Sasha drew closer, Nathan felt suddenly suffocated by the close quarters of the alleyway. The smell of Sasha that had managed to remain unsoiled by the smell of alcohol wafted around him. "I'm fine," Nathan said. "Just a lot on my mind." "I can imagine." Sasha remained standing close in front of Nathan, his breath forming the same white puffs, though he didn't look nearly as susceptible to the cold without a jacket. He smiled warmly. "I'd apologize for being so, well, like me, but you're difficult to read. I didn't mean to spook you back there." Nathan shifted uncomfortably against the wall of the building. "Listen, about that guy this morning—" "Not my business," Nathan said quickly. The last thing he wanted right now was an explanation, or, God forbid, an apology. "Assuming should be a cardinal sin. I shouldn't have... Yeah, so let's just forget it, huh? Sleep with chicks, sleep with guys, it doesn't matter to me. Sasha frowned. Nathan, it freaked you out. I'm not an idiot. I think it bothered you more than our moment in the hallway, to be honest. He took a step closer to Nathan. I appreciate how you and Jim have handled finding out what I am. I do. You've really been trying to accept me, even though I know it isn't easy for you. But the truth is, you're driving me crazy. Me? You're the one who keeps doing things, Nathan said, more than happy to fall into a confrontational tone. Then when I find you with a guy this morning, it's all business as usual. Nathan, you know I didn't sleep with him because I wanted to. I had to. If I thought I had another option. He trailed for a moment, as his eyes swept over Nathan. I would have gladly accepted it. Dude. Nathan held up his hands, as if he could physically hold the conversation in place. You're getting way ahead of yourself here. I'm an incubus, Nathan, Sasha said plainly. It isn't possible for someone to be attracted to me, and for me not to know about it, especially when I'm spending most of my time with them. Nathan was suddenly very aware of how much closer Sasha was, but for the life of him he couldn't think of how to move away. I wouldn't push the way I have been if I didn't think something might come of it, Sasha said. I wouldn't make advances if I didn't think you kind of liked it. Whoa, Nathan said, leaning as far back as he could to avoid whatever Sasha was intending to do. You need to just back up, buddy. I don't know what you think you know about me, but sounds like you need to get that incubus sense checked, 'cause it is way off. Sasha looked disappointed at first, but eventually he just looked skeptical. Nathan, you can't lie to me or fool me when it comes to attraction. That you can only do to yourself. If someone is attracted to me, I know. How do you think we hunt? Walter's words replayed in Nathan's mind. He can read emotions, Nathan. He can feel what other people are feeling. That's how an incubus knows who to target when they feed. Let's make a deal. Huh? Right now all Nathan wanted was to get out of the alley. A deal, Sasha repeated. Either you're attracted to me or you're not, right? So we find out for sure. If I'm wrong, I promise, I'll drop this. No more flirting, nothing. Sound good to you? Too good. How am I supposed to prove it? A devilish smile tugged at Sasha's lips. It's simple enough. You let me steal just one little kiss. Huh, Nathan laughed, if a little uncomfortably. And, Sasha went on, if you feel nothing, really nothing, fine, I'll accept it. But if you do... What? Your next feeding time is me? I don't think so. Nathan really wanted out of the alley. He couldn't understand why his legs weren't moving. But Sasha, in that moment, while answering that question, didn't look devilish at all. Whoever said I only wanted to feed on you? Nathan shuddered. He was really starting to hate how often that happened around Sasha, and he knew he couldn't blame it on the cold. But he couldn't actually agree to these terms. It was ridiculous. Come on, Nathan, Sasha pressed, though he didn't try to move any closer. Just one kiss, and we can end this little dance we've been doing. Listen, What? Don't you want to prove me wrong? Or... Sasha's mouth quirked up into a renewed smile. Are you afraid I'll be proven right? Nathan's fists clenched at his sides. If it'll shut you up for 2 seconds, fine, he said, though he felt a surge of panic the moment the words left him. But I swear, if you try anything... Just a kiss, Sasha said, grinning wide as he began to move forward again, crowding Nathan into the corner beside the dumpster. He wasn't giving Nathan any time to prepare. He was just moving in for the kill. Nathan tried to tell himself that this was a good idea, tried to focus on Sasha no longer hitting on him, and being able to just put all of this weirdness behind him. At least some of the weirdness. Sasha was still an incubus. That got Nathan thinking. Incubus? Wait, he said, a hair's breadth from Sasha's lips, and feeling suddenly very short and very small. No incubus stuff either. Sasha's brow creased, so close to Nathan that he could count the lines. Incubus stuff? None of that, pheromone crap. No cheating. The lines in Sasha's forehead disappeared, and he smiled. Nathan, I couldn't make you like me if you didn't already, even if I doused you in pheromones. It doesn't work that way. This is just us, just you and me. For all intents and purposes, right now I'm practically human. Huh, Nathan laughed. Right. No tricks, Sasha said, moving in that much closer, so he was practically speaking against Nathan's lips. Just... Nathan didn't realize his eyes were shut until Sasha's lips were on him. Half of him thought he had to be dreaming, and that when he opened his eyes, he would be alone. His senses told him differently. Sasha's lips were as soft as Nathan's were chapped, and pliant and giving. They enveloped Nathan like no lips ever had. A flicker of what Nathan had felt when Sasha shared the feeding experience with him stirred in Nathan's stomach, like an echo, and he found himself leaning in. Sasha was so warm. Even without his jacket, he radiated heat and that glorious smell of leather. That's when it finally struck Nathan. Faye didn't have a scent, not any that Nathan had ever met before. But Sasha did, and it was intoxicating. Sasha's lips were moving against his, and Nathan was moving his too, and their mouths were open just enough that the smallest tilt of Sasha's head pushed the kiss deep enough to touch tongues. Nathan shivered, and shivered again when he felt Sasha's hand at the curve of his face and neck, gentle, guiding. The kiss was lasting too long already. Nathan had to think quickly. He readied himself as much as he could and pulled away, smiling. "See?" he said, and his voice didn't waver in the slightest. "Nothing. Sorry, man." Sasha blinked at Nathan, frowning at first, until he found a smile too, though it wasn't a truly happy one. "No big deal, then," Sasha said. He pulled his hand away slowly, so that it brushed Nathan's neck as he lowered it. "Thanks for humoring me. Guess we should go back." "Yeah," Nathan nodded. "Just, give me a sec, huh? If I look all flushed, Jim'll get the wrong idea." He grinned, a wide and devious grin. "Gotcha. Take too long, though, and I'll bet he'll still worry." Sasha stretched his grin as well, but it wasn't genuine. He headed back inside the bar, leaving Nathan in the cold. As soon as the door closed, Nathan fell back against the wall. He could breathe again, but his breaths came shallow. He was shaking, and his heart was beating so fast he had been certain Sasha would hear it. Bringing up both hands, he ran them hard through his hair. He had let a fae back him into a corner. He had let an incubus kiss him. And he had liked it. "Shit," Nathan said, swallowing low against the pounding of his heart. "I am so fucked."
You're listening to Big World Network.